Hello, good evening. How are people tonight? Hope you are well. Thanks for being here if you're tuning in. And it is Saturday night, so we are just doing some random hobby stuff, hanging out. I always like to ask people in chat what they are working on a Saturday night. If you are doing some hobby, let me know. And good evening, Ed Garnham, sorry. First person into the chat, into the stream tonight. Cool. How are you? Hope you're well. Thanks for being here. I actually did quite a bit of filming today. I'm going to tell you guys about it later once we get a few more people in. We'll wait. We just got 5 people tuning in at the moment. We'll give it a few minutes. But I'm actually going to be starting by building something tonight, which we don't often do on stream, but we are going to be doing a little bit of building. I have here, and hopefully you can see it, a Relic Contemptor Chain Fist. So gone are the days of the double Volkite or the Volcon cannon. In for the next while, I guess. In for what's going to be strong now. It's going to be, I think, 1 Chain Fist, 1 Volkite arm, right? Tarek says, hey BAC, I'm taking on Custodes and Dukari this week. I usually take on lists similar to yours. Any go-to picks that you think I should take for these armies in particular? Dukari and Custodes. I think Custodes, you really want a librarian with null zone. I think if you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult to beat Custodes. I mean, I played them recently and I don't feel like I did well against them, but yeah, I didn't have a librarian. And then against Dukari, I think you definitely want a Relic Contemptor with the Volcon against Dukari. I think it's really good at killing raiders. But Custodes, I think, are a big problem right now. They're just so durable. Like, their durability is so top. The fact they can turn off rerolls, the fact they can transhuman, they're just very, very tough. Dukari, it's nice to have something that makes the enemy fight last as well, because the Incubi have that nasty rule where if they roll over your leadership, you fight last. What do you think of the 800-point Forge World Mastodon? Good evening, Willis. I mean, the 800-point Mastodon, it's not actually terrible in terms of like how competitive it is. It's terrible in that you won't be able to fit it on the board because it's absolutely giant, Robert. I don't know how you fit it on the board. I don't even know if there's enough room for you to deploy it. If you can work out how to deploy it, if there's space for you to deploy it, then you could make a Mastodon work, but I honestly don't think you're going to have enough room to deploy it, which means you're having to strategic reserve it. And then I can't remember the rules exactly if you can't bring it in turn 1, but they're kind of funky. It's like you can arrive in turn 1, but you can't shoot if there's no room or something like that. Yeah, I mean, the Mastodon is strong. Some of the Forge World tanks are strong, but if there's not a big enough spot, is this super glue like? Is it dead? I used it just the other day. I don't think it was dead. No, there's something coming. I think it's getting pretty empty. Good afternoon, Mark. Just got on. Been making planters for our garden. Well, that sounds fun. We didn't do anything outside today because it was like a full-on blizzard. The weather was up. It was very, very cold. February in Scotland is definitely the coldest month of the year. Do you know what? This super glue, I can see glue in there. It's just not coming. Is it dead? There's something that... Go figure, it would be dead when I'm on stream, right? Anything? Oh, there it is now. Wow, that took forever. and it's the tiniest little bit. I might have to get a new super glue. Or just chop this nozzle off. But yeah, so I'm making a chain fist for the Relic Contemptor. People have been telling me to buy this for a while. I'm scared if I take the end off here that it'll be worse than it is, but we're gonna do it. Yeah, so people have been telling me to buy the Relic Contemptor for a while. The chain fist, anyway. And do you know what? It probably needs to be reserved against Tau. But I mean, chain fists aren't going to be that effective against Tau because the thing that Tau have going for them is that they have like someone was telling me in chat today, I think it was Reziel, that Tau have the ability now to make all your charges like -2, so like it's almost as if deep strike charges against Tau are just not going to be a thing, because -2 to your charge range means that against Tau you're going to need like a 10-inch charge arriving from deep strike, which, yeah, that's not going to be reliable at all. So that's not going to be super fun. I'm trying to think which way I need I want the... Speaking of big guns, used to run a falchion. Is the Strauss tank viable now? Well, I mean, I would prefer running an Astraeus now to running a falchion for sure. The Strauss dropping 75 points, I think, honestly, is kind of nice. I don't think it's horrible at all. I would run it. If I had one, I would run it. It might, like, I might actually buy an Astraeus this year. I think people don't really know how to fight against Blood Angels lists if they have tons of like really strong firepower in it, because people tend to get like hung up on the fact that they feel like Blood Angels should be all melee or should have like a huge contingent of melee, and we do have a lot of melee. But yeah, I'm not sure people are super good at fighting against super heavy tanks on the Blood Angel side of things. So would I run a Strauss if I owned one? Yeah, I think I would. I think if you arm it with the plasma cannons, it's pretty good. Use a paper clip. Do you know what? I should have used a paper clip. I've cut the nozzle now and glue is just flowing out of here like crazy. Like it's like there's no tomorrow. I actually need a bit of tissue paper to wipe this off. But yeah, no, I guess the nozzle is just fucked. Give the glue a good shake. I mean, it's coming now. I'm gonna end up sticking my fingers together, don't worry. I always end up doing this with super glue. That's why I like the plastic glue, you know that? It's like that plastic glue you can just never stick your fingers together with, or you never end up with like all your fingers feeling like they have an extra layer of skin. Do you guys do the chainsaw facing up the way or facing down the way? I feel like probably up the way is the correct call, but I'm not sure. Tell me in chat if you were going to build the chain fist, which way would the blade be? Would it be up or would it be down the way? Let's see, the glue is now just spurting out the top, so I can actually just dip these things in the top of the glue. I don't know how, I guess some sort of weird negative pressure, I guess. Good evening, Spiderwind. Good evening, Actrial. How you guys doing? Oh shit, have I stuck this? Is that one got to go in there? Yeah, okay. I see. Safety first. Down, says Mark. Everybody's saying down. Really? Wow, okay. Down is the way forward, I guess. Thank you. I would have put it up, actually. I don't know why I would have put it up. It up seemed like the correct choice to me, but now that you all guys mention it, that it would make more sense that you would be swinging it down, yeah. I've been running the Relic Contemptor. Like, I like the fist on the Contemptor, and I actually have all mine magnetized, so I'll magnetize this one as well. So the chainsaw bit should go down the way. Okay. Once I get through this super gluing, they'll get on. I did actually wash this in like hot soapy water today as well, and I actually filmed the video today, not like a normal video for the channel. Now that a few people are here, let me just check so it would be down the way like this. Okay. I'll wipe off some of that extra glue here in a second. So yeah, I was doing some filming this afternoon. And tell me in chat what you guys are working on tonight, if you are working on any hobby. So on my windowsill here, I have 2 boxes of Horus Heresy. The Horus Heresy. So I've got some gifts or giveaway prizes that are coming up. We're going to do a painting competition on the channel. 2 Hit 2 Wound is going to be excited about the painting competition because this painting is insanely good. Spiderwing's tired, you just want to say hi. Thanks for dropping in, Spiderwing, appreciate it. The Chainfist teeth are now going to be pointing down, or yeah. They're going to be pointing down. And I won't need this bit because I'm going to stick a magnet on the top there, and I guess that's an extra gun, so that can just sit over there out of shot. And there's 2 bits here. I think I'm going to use these bits. I'm working on barrels, crates, and containers. Adrian, I hope I'm saying that right. Adrian is working on Palatine Enforcers. I actually converted a bunch of Palatine Enforcers into Space Marine Scouts, Adrian. You can do something pretty cool with them, I found. So I painted, I converted like, was it like 5? I think I converted all 10 into Scouts because you get some, the Palatine Enforcers are very cool, and you actually get some, you get some that have like sniper rifles in the box. So you can kind of have fun with them. So I like Palatine Enforcers as alternatives to Scouts potentially. Painting Death Company Marines with jump packs and infernal pistols. Wow, Steel Rain has a lot of people converted to making Death Company Marines with jump packs and infernal pistols, huh? Like, that is going to be the new meta thing, I guess. Do you use plastic cement? I do use plastic cement if we're talking about, like, you know, models like this that plastic cement will work on, but for Forge World stuff, plastic cement doesn't work on the Finecast. So unfortunately for it, I use super glue. But like, if I had a choice between plastic cement and super glue, I'd use the plastic cement all day. I much prefer it, and I also much prefer not having an extra layer of skin on my fingers, which is super glue. Building a Dread Knight for the Grey Knight's army. Nice, Mark. How are you feeling about Dread Knights going up in 10 points? Turkey Baster says he's working on Blade Guard Sergeant from Indomitus and Intercessor Sergeant with a chainsword. Makes sense to take those Intercessors with a chainsword considering they are no points, right? Certainly makes sense to me anyway. Or yeah, the chainsword costs no points on that squad. Alright. Yeah, you can't use plastic cement on... Is this resin or fine cast? I feel like this is resin. But, I mean, I don't actually really know the difference between resin and fine cast. Maybe someone in chat can tell me. I think they needed the changes they got. Yeah, I mean, I believe you can only take 4 Nemesis Dread... Or, I believe you can only take 4 Dread Knights in a list now, right, Mark? You cannot take 5 anymore. So that's probably a good thing. Building 2 more Chaos Spawn for 1,000 Sun Force. Alright, so we've got that to add to the list of things to do, and then tonight I'm probably going to put a bit of paint on this. I keep forgetting to bring my Teleport Homer with me on Mondays, so probably going to put a little bit of paint on a Teleport Homer as well. Don't really know how you're supposed to paint a Teleport Homer, but we'll put a little bit more paint on this thing. Fine cast is actually some sort of resin. Okay. You learn something new every day. Thank you, Manuel. Super glue is great for dealing with small cuts, honestly. I believe that's why super glue was invented, Brian. Was it not invented during World War II for basically like injuries and stuff? Like I'm like 90% sure, unless someone told me that as like an old wives' tale and it's complete bullshit. I'm sure that super glue was invented during World War II. But I could be wrong. Someone probably knows, but I'm sure that I heard that. Alright, I just need to set my rig camera up. 2 seconds. Greetings, Camille. Good evening. Finecast is the old molds for the metal miniatures that were repurposed for resin while GW slowly moves over to plastic. Superglue was invented for gluing wounds, maybe lacerations to the liver. Okay, yeah, superglue was invented for gluing wounds. So yeah, if you get a cut, superglue. There you go. They don't tell you that every day, do they? Alright, just gonna move this a tiny bit. Cool. Alright, do some painting, I guess. Land speeder, huh? Never painted one of these before, so... Do you know what we could start with is yellow helmets, because everybody was very passionate on telling me that these guys needed to have yellow helmets. So why don't I just start with something that I know is easy. This will mean everyone in the chat will very much be happy because we've done yellow helmets. Oh, and people really know their superglue stuff, huh? Apparently I am just a noob at hobby. But yeah, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. I filmed a video this afternoon. It's probably going to go out on Wednesday. So, on Wednesday, basically what it is, it's going to be an announcement for 2 separate Forge World models that are going to be prizes for a painting competition that we are doing on this channel. So there'll be a painting competition where I need, like, what you'll need to do is you'll need to send me a picture of your miniature along with like a post-it note or something in scene or in the frame, so I can see that it is your miniature, you know, you haven't just downloaded it off Google or something like that. And that's going to be happening like this, probably going to try and put that video out on Wednesday if I get enough time to edit before Wednesday. If I don't get enough time, maybe it'll go out like later in the week. But yeah, so Blood Angels painting competition, it's kind of to tie in with the channel reaching 9,000 subscribers. We are very, very close. I think we should reach it by Wednesday. If we're not, I'm sure that we'll reach it on Wednesday when I post the video. So sometimes I find it's best, I forgot, sometimes I paint the heads white first and then do the yellow over the top. I might do that. What's better on the bike? Is it better multi-melter on bike, multi-melter on a speeder? I think the speeder is going to be the better choice right now. If you asked me 6 months ago, I'd have said the bike. Does the Mini need to be painted Blood Angels? Yeah, I think it would need to be Blood Angels. I mean, the channel's all about Blood Angels, so it would be strange for it to not be Blood Angels, Mark. But I'm not going, like, I'm going to, the date, like, the competition's going to be, like, for a month. So I guess, like, if you haven't got anything Blood Angels painted to, like, the highest standard that you think you can paint to, then I guess I will give it, you know, you'll have a little bit of time. It's not going to be like, I need you to enter, like, straight away. So I'll give people time to get something together if they haven't, and that is the plan. I think it'll be cool because I think we'll see a lot of interesting Blood Angels models, and you know what, like, people are always posting stuff in Discord, and I never have, it would be, I don't know how I would go around, like, getting all the best entries from Discord and bringing them onto, like, a stream without, like, missing somebody out or something like this. So this way everybody can enter, you know, everyone gets a sort of fair chance, and yeah, it's two pretty cool Forge World models that will be given away this time. Are Blood Angels successors okay? Yeah, I mean, I guess the successors would be okay, as long as they're, like, I guess, red, black, or gold, because they're kind of like our Blood Angels colors, right? Like, if they were, like, a blue successor chapter, not sure how I feel. But, I mean, you'll be getting judged, like, the judges, because it won't just be me doing the judging. The judges will all be Blood Angels players, and they'll know it's for the Blood Angels channel, so I guess, like, you probably want your most Blood Angels looking thing, because we're probably gonna, like, part of it will be, like, biased on just probably how cool it is for Blood Angels, right? But yeah, I've filmed the whole video, and details will be coming. Maybe after we got those couple of questions, I need to film a tiny bit more, but I'll have something together, like, this week for that. If anyone's confused why we're painting white on helmets, it's just because we're going to put yellow over them, and I find Games Workshop yellow is shit, and you need to do multiple coats. So putting the white down first will help me a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Yellow over red really doesn't work. Hell, yellow over white doesn't really work, so... What are the prizes going to be? They're going to be the Forge World First Captain Ralderon. And I get 2 of them. I think... Do you know what? I took a photo on my smartphone earlier of myself holding up the prizes. I don't think I can share that in this stream. You can paint a Forge World tank. That would be a cool entry. Yeah, so it's First Captain Ralderon. I've got 2 of them. He comes on, like, a display base. If you've not seen him before, I think I can show him real quick. This is what he is. And he comes, so he can be detached from the display base. He's a pretty unique captain. I actually have him myself, and I did a bit of a conversion with him, like, because he's got this underslung bolt gun / combi weapon, and then he's got, like, a power sword. So you could run him, like, as a captain with a combi weapon and a power sword, or you could run him, you could give him a jump pack, I guess, and convert him. You could even lose this bolter if you wanted. because it's like hanging from like a leathery bit. And then the display base is pretty cool as well. It's got like a dead arm from like some sort of demon on the display base, and he just lifts out of the display base, so you can just put him in and out. And there's a little bit of an unboxing on the stream coming with this as well. So I opened up one of the boxes. I didn't actually go into these bits like inside the box, but I just wanted to open up and show what, like, you know, like it's totally legit. So Evening Steel Rain, I just finished building my chain fist. I hope you are proud of me. I guess I need to slap a magnet on here and then get it sprayed. I'm gonna get it sprayed before Monday night. Probably not. Anyway, question mark. Has anyone in chat got the new cow? Has anyone in chat got the Tau Codex today? Termite, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Because I have questions about... Well, I'm playing Tau on Monday night, and Andrew sent me a picture earlier today showing that, like, he has the Cow Codex and he's definitely building a list. And I said to him, like, send me your list as soon as he's ready, and he was like, yeah, sure. But one of the things that was annoying, I'd say, last edition was, like, battle suits didn't count as vehicles, right? So, like, you couldn't bring it down against Tau, even though their whole army could be basically vehicles. Did they change that, or is that still the same? Are battle suits still not classed as vehicles? They're just classed as, like, battle suits. Because if they left that as is, that's just going to be annoying. I always feel like it's something that you should be able to score against Tau with the amount of vehicles and shit that they have, but I guess battle suits aren't vehicles for whatever reason. Why am I playing Tau? Battle suits are infantry up to broadsides and the rest are vehicles. Okay, so picking secondaries against Tau is going to be pretty tough, right? I imagine Andrew's list is probably going to be like, well, it's Andrew, so he's going to have like 3 hammerheads. He might have a broadside. He's definitely going to have like the storm surge. Then I guess he's going to have like, I know he's got the large battle suits, like the 90 point version ones. I don't know if they're still 90 points or whatever, but he definitely have some of those large battle suits. He's probably definitely going to have a bunch of crisis suits. So that's basically probably going to be the list. 3 hammerheads, battle suits, crisis suits, storm surge, and maybe the broadside. I mean, he might have some infantry. He might have like a couple of squads of fire warriors just to perform actions and stuff. But that's kind of what I expect from Andrew. But yeah, no, I mean, regardless of how strong they are or how not strong they are, I want to give them a shot. I mean, I thought that list with all the Titans Andrew brought last week was pretty strong, and I did manage to table them in turn 4, you know, so it's like, I do still think that, like, I don't think Blood Angels are as bad as some people think they're bad, you know? I mean, yeah, we're not A tier, or we're probably like low B tier, but like, I think we can do well. And you know, if there's enough terrain on the board and the map favors you a little bit, you can do well enough. What are you gonna do about the railguns on the hammerheads? They're gonna fucking hide, man. Every single unit of mine will be in an obscuring position, I guess. Have you seen the Tau Commander melee build someone came up with? I haven't seen a melee build. I know that you used to be able to run them with fusion blades and they could be pretty nasty. But no, I haven't looked at anything Tau related today. I didn't buy the new Tau book, and I have had, I want to say I've had an emergency today, but like, you know, I get two kids that are very young, so on Saturdays I try and help my wife out and it's challenging, so no, I haven't really looked at any new releases or anything exciting, unfortunately. Where am I going? Maybe like Standard Grey? Dawnstone? Good evening, Highland Phoenix, how you doing? If you missed the beginning of the stream, I was talking about how I'm doing a painting competition coming up for Blood Angels. I think I'm going to announce it this week, and you're going to have like a month to paint the best Blood Angel thing you can do, like a unit, an infantry, a character, a vehicle. You can be able to submit it, and the winners are going to win. I've got two Chapter Master Ralderon models from Forge World on his display base and everything, you know, like the $50 version. So we're not far off 9,000 subscribers. Yeah, that's why I'm going to do that's one of the reasons to do the big giveaway, I guess. Like 9,000 subscribers. We are the 9th Legion, so it kind of all ties together. This brush is terrible. That other synthetic brush has just died on me as well, so hold on, I gotta see what I've got. I don't like using good brushes for just firing base coats on, but I don't know if I've got anything shitty. This one maybe. Or is this a medium base brush? You see this. Still using the brushes that you sent me to hit to wound. I've got a medium shade brush as well. The synthetic GW ones. I don't think they're the greatest brushes, but I do appreciate you sending them to me. It's a bit of a bigger point than I'm used to using. I'll try it. I can always jump around if I'm not happy. There's a relic gauntlet they can basically take that's a Dreadfist. I mean, they used to be able to take fusion blades, I think, Steel Rain. And they were like flat 6 damage, were they not? Anyone that missed it on Thursday night, just this Thursday past, over another channel, Mark's Right, our 3 Grots did cover all the new chapter approved missions in detail. We actually covered the whole book, both books, the points cost, the missions, and any other rules. So if you had any questions about Chapter Approved 2022, and I may get round to doing a video for that over here on this channel, but if you have any questions right now, if I do it, it's not going to be for a few weeks at least. So if you got any questions about Chapter Approved 2022, if you want to know what secondaries we liked and stuff like that for each of the maps, then 3 Grots, just search on YouTube 3 Grots, you'll find our channel. It's a newer channel, but we're building it, so we'd appreciate anyone that can check it out. They really don't fire melee per se because they don't auto hit, they're just attacks on that profile. Robert White says, I don't collect Blood Angels, but I always wanted to pick up a Gastiker or Dreadnought model. Might use it as the painting competition as an excuse to pick him up. Well, yeah, I mean that would be a cool excuse. Sometimes on the Forge World stuff, you kind of want to pick it up. You need an excuse to pick up Forge World stuff, you know, because it's not your everyday run-of-the-mill sort of thing, I guess. But Forge World is as much of a hassle as it can be, you know, like the resin and all that sort of stuff. It is kind of awesome. I love my Forge World tank. I would do another one tomorrow if I didn't have 2 kids, you know? Like, it's just the time investment to do a giant Forge World tank is like, for me, being the slow painter that I am, it's probably like, at the moment, it'd probably take me a year to paint a Forge World tank. But yeah, we'll get, you know, I think I'll now announce the painting competition on Wednesday, and there'll be about a month. So you'll have a month, and it'll be like you'll basically be able to submit at any time during that month. So whenever you think that you've got your model ready and you want to submit it, you'll be able to just email it over to me, and we'll get them all together, and then we'll pick a short list, and then we'll see what happens. It'll be exciting. Good evening, Jax. Thanks for tuning in. Mark says, I'm a bad painter, so I don't think my stuff would be good enough in this competition. Do you know what, Mark? I am a bad painter too, but yeah, you know, like I legitimately I'm not that great a painter. So like, you know, I guess what you want to do is just, if you haven't painted something, you know, pick a single character, because I've said that it's going to be a character, a squad, or a vehicle. Pick something small and do your absolute best, and like, who knows, it's not going to be, there's going to be a certain degree of randomness in the winner, because we're gonna basically create some sort of shortlist, and then we'll randomize the winner from the shortlist, so it doesn't, like, I don't want to just pick, I'm not just going to pick one, because it could look like I have a favorite or something, and like, you guys sometimes super chat me and stuff on here. So it might look, if someone who does super chats suddenly wins the painting competition, you know, so we'll make a short list. So you could make it onto the short list. You wouldn't have to be the best painter out of everybody to make it onto the short list of winners. And there will be one of the prizes is going to be open to everybody, and one of the prizes is going to be open to members. So I guess if you're a member, you kind of get 2 chances to win. So can you use a multi-belta and a heavy flamer on a speeder? Yeah, you can, but I think you're better off. Well, Camille, once I open the competition, there'll be certain rules you'll have to follow, but if that's the unit you want to enter, you totally can enter them. I've been trying to use Blade Guard Veterans, and even with Impulsor they didn't deliver, says Atrial. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to use Blade Guard Veterans now, Atrial, for a while, and I tried running on a Pulsar, I tried it running it with a Shield Dome. I felt the same, I just couldn't get them to deliver. And then I took Firstborn Terminators with Thunderhammers and stuff last week, and do you know what? The Thunderhammer Terminators fucking deliver, because they stand in cover and they have a 0-up save. So Andrew was hitting me with all these -2 weapons, and I'm like, well, even at -2, I still save on a 2+. That's pretty fucking useful. And yeah, I don't know. I like Blade Guard Veterans. I have them fully painted. I felt like when I painted them, I felt like at the start of this edition they were really strong. Or maybe just like a year ago, I felt Blade Guard Veterans were really strong, and I had no reason to consider dropping them. Yeah, you could use a model you've already done, Manuel. The stipulation will be that you'd need to... I do not have a post-it note in front of me, but basically what you would need to be able to do is you need to be able to put a post-it note in a pic. So I'd like, let's say this was going to be my model I'm entering the painting competition. I would take like 2 or 3 photos of it, but in one of the post-it notes, on one of the photos, I need to have a post-it note with my YouTube username in there, so I can see like you haven't just downloaded the picture from Google, right? So that's the only stipulation that will probably be, and then you'll have to obviously email it to my new email address I've set up for the competition. Why have a competition, and why not just announce 2 hit to wound as the winner? We can save time. Because that's what, so 2 hit to wound stuff is amazing. So there's very good chance that he will be in the shortlist for the prizes, but like I said, the actual winner, there'll be a degree of randomness in it. There's going to be a degree of randomness in it. We're gonna a short list of like 5 or 10 winners, and then there'll be a random number generated, and if you're lucky you'll win it. If you're not lucky, you know, better than luck next time. I would rather do it that way than actually, I think that's fairer than me just picking someone, because, you know, yeah, I think that's the fairest way rather than me just picking someone. So as long as you enter like a really high quality photo or model, then you will have a chance, even if you aren't the best, as long as it's, you know, it's the best of your ability. My eradicators are almost done. Yeah, I mean, you could use it, anything that you finish in the next month or so. That, I mean, the painting competition will last for about a month. And the full details will be in the video that I send out on Wednesday. Or I put out on this Wednesday this week, hopefully. So just keep an eye out for that. Everyone starts somewhere. One great idea is looking at painting mistakes like areas to improve and practice. Yeah, and I mean, do you know what? If you submit your model, then maybe we can give you some, you know, like we'll have some people on here that can give you a little bit of feedback on what you've done, you know, and it doesn't hurt to try, you know. Like, do you ever go to a GT and, like, you know, like at a GT sometimes they have like painting competitions, like, you know, it doesn't hurt to try. And you know what, if loads of people enjoy it and it's a really good thing, then maybe we'll have something every year. And you know, maybe you don't win this year, Mark, but maybe you could come back stronger in a future year, you know? I'm running the normal speeder now with just the multi-melta. It's 70 points, and I think it's useful for a few different reasons, but one of the reasons definitely is the engageable fronts that the bikes don't get anymore, right? GIV's Tau, they have 100 plus shots of ignore, LOS, strength 5, AP minus 2 easily. What the hell is GI? I don't know what GI is, D-King. Probably when you tell me it's gonna be super obvious, right? The recipe for my red is different from probably everybody else's Blood Angels red. I do mine with I do Evil Sun Scarlet as my base coat. Most other people do Mephiston red. I would think if you want to watch tutorials and stuff online, you could do Mephiston. Mephiston red is probably the most common. But my red is Evil Sun Scarlet, and the reason I do, like, most people go... But do most people do Mephiston Red and then edge highlight Evil Sun Scarlet? Whereas I just go with Evil Sun Scarlet and then I just recess wash. I don't do any edge highlighting. So basically, like, I'll just pin wash everything with Agrax Earthshade to kind of like bring it down a level, because Evil Sun is actually quite, like, when it's just on there like that, it's kind of obnoxious how red it is. But thank you so much for your kind words about the channel being amazing. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. YouTube has its ups and downs sometimes, so kind words like that are always very appreciated. Oh, good luck versus Tau. Oh, I'm with you. They have 100 shots of ignore line of sight. Do they have that many shots? From the airburst things? I thought the airbursts were only -1 AP now. Type P1 CP to give my my +1 to my roll. Maybe Jax. I contemplated 5 Assault Centurions, 4 to 6 Meltas, a Land Raider Crusader, and Corbulo today as a way of countering Custodes Bake. Corbulo doesn't help them at all. Highland Phoenix, because they're not core. unless you're just using Corbulo for resurrections, but his aura actually doesn't help the Centurions. I really don't know why Centurions are not core, but I guess just... Are Devastator Centurions core? I actually don't know. I assume they're probably not if Assault Centurions are not core. Remember, guys, to like the video. Yeah, it's nice when you... I mean, likes are definitely appreciated. Not super required, but I do appreciate the likes as well, so thank you for that. Actually, I'm going to have to pull up a picture of a land speeder. I actually have no idea how to paint a land speeder. This is the first one I've ever painted. Can you believe that? I was gonna say maybe the trim around the land speeder should be a different color. I mean, the one that I'm looking at on Google isn't, but like it would help break up all this red if this trim was a different color, or at least these bits. Do you know what? I'll keep. Well, I make. I was gonna say maybe I'll leave these bits red, but the individual, yeah, this bit underneath I'll make like it's a bit of metal going around the land speeder, I guess. New to Blood Angels tabletop here, says Toasty Devil. Thank you so much for Blood Angels dedicated channel. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate the kind words as well. Just if you haven't subscribed, please do consider doing that, because it really does help out. And yeah, Blood Angels is kind of my thing, so thanks for watching. Glad you found us. Congrats on the first land speeder. I am thinking about buying like 2 more. I'm thinking about getting a Storm and maybe another one just like this. I do have a Tornado myself, but like the Tornado is unpainted and I'm not really motivated to paint it because I think the Tornado may be overcosted, you know that? Like, I think this one with the multi-melt, because like for the Tornado you basically end up paying like, you basically pay like 20 points for a single assault cannon or something like that. No more wounds, no more survivability, you like Highland Phoenix just said in the chat, you lose data linked telemetry. So it's kind of a question, like, why would you pay 20 more points for a single assault cannon? You know, like, if you think about it, like in a squad of Terminators, assault cannon's 10 points, so is the Tornado just badly overcosted? I guess you could argue it is, right? But yeah, I mean, I guess tune in on Monday night if you... I mean, if you think about it, D-King, I played against Andrew's Rucka Trucks, who averaged like, what? You run 9 Rucka Trucks and each one gets like 7 shots. So Andrew averaged in that Rucka Truck list like, oh, it was ridiculous, wasn't it? It was like, Rucka Trucks are strength 5 minus 3, 2 damage. So Andrew ran like 7 9s. I should be able to do that in my head. 7 7s is 49 plus 2 more 9s is 18. So Andrew ran like a list that on average had 67 shots of strength 5 minus 3 2 damage a turn. And I mean, I beat that every single time we played. So I think I played that list 3 times, and then I came up against basically the same list in a GT and beat it in the GT as well. So I don't think it's unbeatable. I mean, it sounds scary, but I guess. Do Tau have ways to ignore your cover save? Do they have that as well? I was trying to paint vehicles a slightly different red than the Marines. Corn red on speeders, bikes, and Mephisto on redders and Marines to break up the blob of red. Yeah, I mean, that's why sometimes I just decide to paint squads in Death Company colours, even if they're not part of the Death Company, or squads in gold, even if they're not, like... You know, I did my Vanguard Veterans in gold, and I actually really like the Vanguard Veterans in gold. Like, in hindsight, I'm really glad I did, because I just think they're a cool squad that are, like... The gold kind of... I don't know. Just think it gives them something. I might get a... You remember in... it was the 8th edition, we had a Vanguard Veteran on the cover of our Codex. You can get, like, a pretty cool print of that from... I think it's called, like, warhammerart.com. So I was thinking about getting a print for the room to be, like, in the background of, like, a lot of my videos, but I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do it yet, but I do like Vanguard Veterans. And do you know what, since I changed, so I've been running 2 squads of Sangre Guard now for, the Tornado is 2 inches of less movement as well. I don't know why you pay the 20 points for the Tornado then. GW is the 360 view of the model, so I typically use that for reference when doing metal details. Yeah, sometimes I do use the GW website with a 360 view. That is nice, but sometimes I think this is a good example where, like, on the GW website, I just looked at the Land Raider and it's like this whole out panel is just blue. And, like, sometimes, like, I am not the greatest painter, but, like, sometimes I feel like if you just do, like, the same color in, like, giant areas, it kind of I don't think it's laziness, so to speak, but, like, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's probably, you know, like, sometimes I see other people do, let's say, like, let's use Vanguard Veterans as a good example. You know, like, Vanguard Veterans wear a belt. Now, like, I see a lot of people paint their models and just leave the belts the same color as the armor, you know, like red. And I mean, painting the belt, unless you're picking up the model and looking at it really closely, you probably don't even notice that the belt is painted right. But, like, I paint all my belts. So, like, am I wasting time painting belts, or am I putting a lot of effort in because I like the models? You know, it's a tough one. I don't think there's no right or wrong answer to that, I guess. But, you know, painting, you put in as much or as little effort as you want. You know, it's all on you, I guess. You know, like, I paint the undersides as well and stuff. Like, again, what's the point? No one is ever seeing the underside, right? $63 shots. SMS, those missiles we're talking about ignore cover, so it's 100 AP 2 or 3, strength 5, 1 damage, ignore cover. And that's the secondary shooting of the army. Jonesy says Storm Speeder Hammer Strike. I was going to do a video on the Hammer Strike soonish, Jonesy, like a tactics video on it. Haven't quite worked out when I'm going to do that video, but I think, like, I think people want to know if with the points costs and stuff, if the Hammer Strikes look attractive in any way, shape, or form, I guess, or maybe if all the Storm Speeders look attractive in any way, shape, or form, right? So that was something it was kind of on my radar to do, but I just haven't done it yet. I almost did it for this week, but I wanted to talk about strategic reserves this week. I thought strategic reserves was important because I felt like I've been using them for a while and they always keep coming and providing value for me. I'm probably going to strategic reserve some stuff against the Tau list, because if I don't, it's probably just getting shot off the table early in the game anyway, right? So strategic reserves probably going to feel like the right call there, right? Yeah, so that's precisely what I'll do. I'm not going to do any edge highlighting on this, Theo. What I will do is, after I'm done, look, for example, in this panel here, I'll get like Agrax Earthshade Wash, and I'll put it in here and in here, like basically like do the whole panel, and then if I make any mistakes, I'll go and tidy it up, like with the original red. So like, basically it's like I would call that a pin wash. And I'll pin pretty much every armor panel, so like even panels like this I would pin in there, and probably this gap down here. And I mean, it's not going to look probably as detailed or as good as someone that's going to edge highlighting it all, but I think it's gonna look pretty good. Turkey Blaster says belt painters rise up. Yeah, I mean, if you paint the belt, then good on you. I know I paint my belts, but it probably is wasted effort in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, who's actually picking up the models close enough to say like, oh, you didn't paint the belt, how lazy of you. No one said that ever. The only thing people get upset about is that they get very upset if you don't drill your gun barrels. Because on this channel people hate me for not drilling my gun barrels. I just apologize and say that I don't have the time for that. It takes me so long to get stuff done. If I drilled my gun barrels as well, I'd be here forever. I'm kind of leaning with 10 Death Company with hammers, expensive but will kill or profile even Mortarion really hard. 10 Death Company with hammers is a huge investment, I feel like. Like, is it a step too far? 10 hammers. How much is 10 Death Company with hammers these days anyway? Like, you know, Death Company going down to 23 points per model. The Thunderhammer is still 15, so you're looking at what, like 380 points? 380 points on a squad that's really just 10 2-wound Marines. You lose that squad, that's so painful. Like that. I don't know if I could justify 10 Thunderhammers. I think a better way to look at it is to look for, like, look across your whole list like I do, and like if you feel like you need 3 damage stuff, because I do believe that right now we do need 3 damage stuff. I think if you need 3 damage stuff, like aim for like 15 3 damage or more weapons in your list. I think if you've got that, you're in pretty good shape, because previously I said like you want like 10 3 damage or more weapons. If you have 15, then you're kind of rocking the 3 damage sort of metric. So I think that would be genuinely really good. Hey Joe, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciated it. I magnetized my Storm Speeder so I can field all Thunderhammer hail strikes, and it's a pretty cool model, that's why I bought it. And it's 9 power level. I actually think it should have gone down in power level, because they've put its points cost down twice now, right? And correct me if I'm wrong here, but they never put its power level down. And I think that, like, if they've dropped its points cost twice, then its power level, like, power level is usually like 1 power level for 20 points, give or take. Thoughts on the Aldari update, says Theo. I think Aldari are going to be really scary. I haven't seen too much of their stuff. I've seen, like, I know that their Wraith Knights are basically better. They're all going to be -1 damage. They're not going to take -1 to hit with the axes. I thought Wraith Knights were already pretty darn strong in combat, so that's going to be... Sorry, not Wraith Knights, Wraith Blades. I know that Avatar's got made better quite a bit. He like rounds damage by half now. So I think, as with all the new codexes, the new models, or whoever's getting their new codex are going to be strong. Aldari are going to be strong. I think you know, if we see a lot of army, like Wraithblades were horrific to kill before. In some ways, they're gonna be similar to those Thor's Orc buggies with a ramshackle. Like, they're just gonna nerf anything that is 2 damage. Really, like 2 damage models into Wraithblades are gonna be so ineffective. With their storm shields, and I think their shield got better, right? Because before I think Wraithblades were like a 3-up, 4-up. Now they're gonna be a 2-up, 4-up. So technically against low AP attacks they even got better as well, and they're always -1 damage, and yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be really strong. I was saying like 10 minutes ago, I've been running 2 squads of Sangre Guard for like so long now, and like I actually genuinely really like having 2 squads of Sangre Guard in my list. But like last week I ran like squad of Vanguard Veterans with a bunch of hammers and lightning claws, which are much less affected by -1 damage stuff. I kind of really liked it, so I think for the interim future, like that list last week, it was 7 Sangre Guard and 8 Vanguard Veterans with shields, hammers, and lightning claws. I think I'm gonna run that again, just because having all those extra hammers and lightning claws in the current situation where it just feels like so many things are like reducing the Sangre Guard's damage is actually feels really important to me. I mean, I could be wrong, but it does feel really important. I know a bunch of you guys keep telling me to run Death Company with Infernal Pistols and Chain Swords. I'd love to have the models ready to do that. I don't have them ready, and I can't get them ready because where I am with my family right now, I just don't have the time. But if Death Company, Infernal Pistols, and Chain Swords are working for you, then I trust you guys, because you guys turned me on to reserving the Assault Intercessors every game, and I like reserved Assault Intercessors a lot. You guys also turned me on to the Chain Fist Contemptor build, which I like a lot as well, and even Inceptors. You guys turned me on to Bolter Inceptors, and Bolter Inceptors are cheap and good. I like them a lot. Wave Serpents are going to be... so why are Wave Serpents going to be OP, Mark? I'd love to hear that. Because I assume it'll... Are they going to be like -1 damage and still get their 6-up shrug or something? I actually just watched Dune today. I don't know if you guys have seen Dune, but that's how far behind we are on current stuff because of the 2 children. But no, really enjoyed Dune. They changed the story a bit from the book and stuff, so I mean they always kind of do with Hollywood, but no, I think if you haven't seen Dune, I think it's worth a watch. I enjoyed it quite a lot, if you like science fiction movies. Wave Serpents have a 5++ inbuilt transhuman from their energy shields. Oh, like, so they're going to have the same quantum shielding as the Necrons do. Well, that certainly makes them a hell of a lot better. How many have they told you how many points they've gone up to, or do we not know that part yet? Wave Serpents were kind of... I don't want to say they were a joke before, but they kind of felt like impulsors. They kind of just felt like run-of-the-mill kind of crap. I mean, the Shuriken catapults, you're trying to roll 6s to do any sort of meaningful damage or meaningful AP, I guess, so... Wave Serpents probably needed something. I'm not sure they needed a 5 shrug and a transhuman permanent, but that sounds pretty good for them, right? Is it 5-up shrug against everything, or so if you like smite them and stuff, they still get their shrug, yeah? Would you consider a 6 damage weapon count as a pair of 3 damage weapons? No, Hydra, I don't consider that. I consider every weapon that you have in your list that can do 3 or more damage in a single attack as one 3 damage weapon. So if you have 17 3 damage weapons in your list, that could be like, let's say, 9 Thunderhammers and 8 Multi-Malice. That's what I would consider. So I would say minimum right now. Oh, 5 up is in Vun. Okay, do they still have a shrug? Because they used to get a shrug on 6s if they took the Spirit Stone, right? Adam's excited to see what they're going to change or screw up with the NIDs. I've heard that some people have been saying that this Crusher Stampede is too strong because, again, it's got like a ton of -1 damage and like the whole army has basically like a 5 up in Vun or something. I haven't played Crusher Stampede yet. I'm actually surprised Andrew hasn't pulled a Crusher Stampede list out because you know how Andrew likes to bring the most meta / overpowered stuff. But no, I haven't seen that yet. But yeah, we're also going to be live tomorrow night doing an army list review show. We always are live on Sunday nights doing that. And then on Monday night, we've got the game against Tau. So some content coming up the next few days on the channel, as well as probably an announcement for a painting competition midweek. And then maybe for next week, maybe next week's tactics video needs to be the video on the Storm Strike. The Hail Strike, the Hammer Strike, the one with all the meltas on it, comparing it to this bogus land speeder that I've got here. Yeah, I did hear that. They kick-started like you're right, Hippo. They kick-started like a group to buy before, like, so David Lynch put the original Dune movie out, you know, the one in the 80s. But before he did that, there was another director that was trying to do Dune before that, and I think his name was like Skawartsky or Savorsky or something. Like it was I feel like he was European or something, right? So he had like it. Maybe it was like Polish or something, but yeah, so he'd like done a ton of work on Dune IP, I guess. Like he'd done concept arts. I think they'd even filmed some scenes and stuff. They'd built sets. Like they'd spent hundreds of millions. I think the reason that the movie never came out was because they spent all the money and they didn't quite get it right or whatever. But anyway, they released a book about it. I think there was also a documentary about it. I think you can watch it on YouTube if you want. About this, like, and it was called like Skavortsky's Dune, and it was about like how they tried to make this movie and it was maybe a little bit too ambitious and they failed. And like the book was easily available, but and it was like an art book, but for some reason somebody somewhere made this art book into an NFT, and then someone decided to kickstart like a bunch of money, like you said, like millions of dollars to buy this art book NFT because they thought, I don't know how they got all the people involved, but they thought if they bought the art book, the NFT art book, Javorsky, yeah, something like that. I'm definitely not saying it right. So if that guy's still, because this was in like the 70s, he tried to make the movie. So I apologize to him because he's probably still alive for saying his name badly. I can't even say British names badly, so I'm not going to be able to say a European name for sure. But they got all this money together and they like bought the NFT of the art book because they thought that if they owned the NFT of the art book, they could license the art book and get funding for the movie or something. That never happened. Which I don't even know why they would do that right now, because like if you go watch that new Dune movie, and like I thought it was pretty good. I liked the original Dune movie from the 80s. Like I didn't hate it because I'm a big science fiction person, but like the Dune movie from the 80s was a bit of a mess, right? Like they didn't quite, it was probably too much content to be put into one movie. And like, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I guess like the new Dune movie, literally the first scene just says like Dune Part 1. So they obviously realized like, hey, this book, I mean, the book's like 1,000 pages. Lord of the Rings. I was gonna say, I have Lord of the Rings downstairs. I'm gonna Google that. How many pages is in Lord of the Rings? Like all 3 movies? I think it can't be more than 1,500. How many pages in all 3 Lord of the Rings books? It's like 1,000. Fellowship of the Ring is like 423. Two Towers is 350, and then Return of the... So like, the Lord of the Rings movies are... Each movie is like a 300-page book. So if the Dune book is like 1,000 pages, how the hell were they ever going to do that in a single movie without having to cut so much that you wouldn't know what the fuck was going on? And I think that's what happened anyway. So these poor suckers spent like 3 million on this NFT art book that like is literally available on Google image search. If you search for the art book, you can find it, and it has no value because it's just an NFT of the book. I mean, I guess you could argue that like Bitcoin has no value because it's like a virtual currency, but like the NFT of a book that's already available for free on the internet, like how does that have any value? I kind of hate NFTs personally because I feel like they're just there to like get money out of people for things they don't really understand. Good evening, Adam. How you doing? What do you think about the World Eaters or fighting World Eaters, says Tristan? I mean, Brett plays World Eaters, and I've played him a bunch of times on the channel. I don't think he's ever beaten me with his World Eaters, but World Eaters are horrific if they manage to charge you in combat, because like Berserkers, for example, they can fight 3 times, right? They get to fight for a second time for free, and then you can play stratagems so they can fight like a 3rd time. So World Eaters are horrific if they get to charge you. Blood Angels are actually quite well equipped to deal with World Eaters because we're fast. All our units have jump packs, so we can dictate when the charges happen. And that's how I tend to always beat World Eaters. But I mean, they are a strong faction. If you don't know what you're doing and you're not experienced playing against them, do you know what? I must have lost at some point to Brett on his World Eaters, but like as of late, I guess I know how to play against them, and I know that you just have to make sure that you dictate when the combat happens on your terms. And if you can do that, then I don't think World Eaters are that much of a problem for Blood Angels. But I'm experienced against them. Does anyone tips for playing salamanders? Oh, for painting, modeling, or playing, as I'm starting a company of that. Unfortunately, I am really familiar with salamanders, Theo. Do you know what though? I mean, there's other channels on YouTube that cover all the factions and stuff. Auspex Tactics has a channel. I don't know if you know that channel. You probably do because he's got like 100,000 subscribers. So I'd be surprised if you've never heard of it. But he probably, I would imagine that I would say there's a 0% chance of Auspex Tactics not having a video about salamanders. Like, because he's done videos on everything. He's a cool guy, and yeah, he always does tactics videos on like every new release, every chapter. I'm not sure he doesn't really do painting tips and stuff, but you'll definitely get tactics tips from that. I read the J.R. Tolkien pages. Yeah, so it's almost 1,100 pages. Yeah, so it's 1,100 pages that became 3 movies, and each of those movies, if you look at the extended edition, Ryan, each extended edition is about 3.5 hours. I actually don't know the running time on the extended editions, but I know that in the cinemas they were all like 3 hours, and most of the extended editions added like 20-30 minutes. So yeah, like there was no way they were ever going to fit Dune into a single movie and make it good. Like it always surprises me because you would think, right, with like all the special effects you can do in Hollywood that you know, like you would think it would be easy to convert books into movies, but like it's not, because I just think people's imaginations are really good, I guess. Like, if you're a kid and you have a good imagination, like, I think that's very difficult. Jaegerbomb coming in with a $5 super chat. Just about, I always get super chats from you, Jaegerbomb. Thank you so much. People say Vindicators have no value, but it continually breaks people's faces in games. I mean, Vindicators are swingy, Jax. For every game it does well, I'll have another game where it does terrible, I guess. Good evening, Reziel. Salamanders, I think, have an army-wide Artisan of War. They do have something like that, army-wide +1 damage. Jaegerbomb says, just finished Mephiston Trilogy, 3 Spaceman Anthology books, and Darkness in the Blood. All were great to me. Looking forward to the Astaroth novel. I am looking forward to the Astaroth novel. It was a limited release, like the same time the Blood Angels Codex came out, I believe. And I completely forgot. I'd never had a collector's edition codex before, and I was so determined to get a collector's edition codex of the Blood Angels Jaegerbomb that I forgot that the Astaroth book released that same day. And then I got in my car and was going somewhere in the morning, and like, when we're in the car, I said to my wife, like, oh shit, the Astaroth book's releasing. This was like 10 minutes after it got released. Can you go onto the Games Workshop website and order it for me? And by the time she got on, it was already sold out. So it is going to be exciting to get the Astaroth book. I'm interested, like, some people in here and some people in the Discord have it already, obviously, because it had that limited release. I'm excited to see where it goes and if it advances the timeline any, or if it's just kind of... Yeah, I think that would be the main thing. Is it going to advance the timeline of, like, post-Darkness in the Blood? And I guess the other question is, are we going to get a post-Darkness in the Blood book at some point as well? Because Darkness in the Blood felt like it was a while ago now. Like, it must have been, like, at least a year ago, was it? I actually downloaded I actually bought the Mephiston books myself on Audible, but I haven't had a chance to finish them yet. I'm 40 chapters into a Star Wars book. Star Wars audiobooks are like my guilty pleasure. I've listened to Star Wars books, or I've read Star Wars books, like the expanded universe, from when I was a very young kid. So what I do at the moment is I bounce between, like, I do one Star Wars book, then I do like one 40k book, and I just bounce between the two of them. So I just finished the last 40k book I finished was the first in the Siege of Terra series, so I might go back to the second one next. But yeah, I'm 40 chapters into a Star Wars audiobook at the moment, so gonna finish that one and then probably pick a 40k one for my library. You know, Mephiston there is in my library. Hope my talk on Tau is helping you, John. I don't honestly know how we're going to do against Tau. The -2 to charging, so basically negating my ability to deep strike, is going to hurt so much. The fact that he's going to be able to basically kill any dreadnought anytime he can see it is going to hurt so much. His indirect fire is going to hurt so much. His fallback and shoot is going to hurt so much. It almost seems like some of these new codexes just have an answer to fucking everything. That was the thing when we played Custodes like 2 weeks ago. And it was like, oh, you're going to use rerolls. No, you're not. Oh, you're going to wound on 2s. No, you're not. Oh, you're going to do this. No, you're not. It's just like every fucking thing that we have, they have the ability to just disable it or counter it. And it feels like Tau are going to have a lot of counters. If I win against Andrew's Tau, it probably just means Andrew is not experienced enough with the Tau. Like, I don't know if it'll be a good indication of, like, Blood Angels are strong with Tau. And I actually felt like I played Rennie's Tau and, like, didn't do very well against them, and Rennie isn't an experienced player. Like, I just think Tau are kind of a good army to counter us. But one of the things they countered us before was with the Greater Good Overwatch, and I guess that's changed, right? Astaroth's book was called... Oh, Angel of Mercy. Thank you, Jaegerbomb. And it takes place between the devastation of Baal and darkness of the blood from what it looks like. Will it be an audiobook? It's hard to say if it'll be an audiobook. Because, I mean, they are putting a lot of their books on Audible now. And I love Audible. I honestly think it's one of the best value for money subscription services you can get. But will it be an audiobook is hard to say. Are they taking pre-orders on the book? I don't know. The pre-order before was the day the Blood Angels Codex came out, and that was for the like limited edition hardback copy that only had like 1,000. They only had 1,000. I think this is more of a general release. But I think if you don't buy it when it gets released, Jaegerbomb, like Black Library is kind of funny like that. Like everything from Black Library seems to be limited releases, right? It's like if you wanted to go and get a paper copy of the Dante book now, like you probably couldn't get it. You probably have to go to like eBay and pay $30 for it or something. I don't really get why. You know, like when I was a kid, if you wanted a paperback book, or I guess if you wanted any paperback book, you'd just go to Amazon and just be like, I want this paperback, and Amazon will have it for like $3.99. But the stuff from Black Library doesn't always seem like it's readily available. Underdog Painting says, hope you're all well. I'm not. I got COVID and I feel crap, so no hobby for a bit. Well, I hope that you recover, Underdog Painting. That's tough to hear. I know a few people have managed to catch it, unfortunately, and it does seem like the world is just starting to move on from COVID now. So hopefully, if you need any further treatment, you know, the hospitals aren't overrun or anything like that. So I hope you feel better, dude. I feel like we shouldn't ever be trusting in deep strike charges to begin with. I prefer being on the table. Yes, so do I, Reziel. I 100% prefer being on the table. The difference is our codex doesn't always allow us to be on. Like, if we were strong, then sure, start everything on the table. But like, I don't think we have durable units. Like 2 Wound Marines to me are not durable. Like Sanguinary Guard, I don't think are durable. I don't even think Blade Guard veterans are durable, honestly. So, like, how do you... When a big part of our army relies on us being in melee combat, and we aren't given the durability to survive to get across the board and get into melee combat, like... I feel like starting some of our units off the table is kind of the only option. And you know, like, I went to 2 tournaments last year, and I did reserves in both tournaments, and both times I went 4-1. Could I have won the final game if I did no reserves in both games? I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just gotta make a call and go with it, right? Yeah, Mephiston is awesome in the books, but he doesn't really get represented the same in the board on the rules, does he? I think that's like an ongoing debate about how Mephiston in the books is just like super strong and like almost. Well, I mean, in the books he's pretty much unkillable, right? By anything. Demons, bloodthirsters, like nothing will kill him. But even in the warp, you know, like he's like. I think in Darkness of the Blood, like he's just chilling around in the warp for a while fighting stuff, and he's like, yeah, and you know, even in the warp I'm kind of unkillable, but like on the tabletop he's anything but that. You might do well taking Falchion to use the Void Shield. Void Shields. Do you know what? Void shields would be useful, but do you know what? Falchions don't actually get void shields, Miguel. It's the Stratus would get void shields. Hey, congrats on being a gold member, Highland Phoenix. How many months is that now you have become a member? I really appreciate it. The Dante book is more than $100 on Amazon. Yeah, that's nuts. Like, why is it $100? Why don't they just reprint some more paperbacks if the demand for the, you know, the book wouldn't be $100 if there was no demand for it. I mean, I would buy a copy of it. I actually have only listened to the Dante book. I got it on Audible. I haven't read it. And like sometimes it's nice to have the book, even if, you know, like I've got some books that I've listened to in Audible and I've never actually read the book, but like I enjoyed it so much and I was like, do you know what? I'd like to have that book because one day I might read it, even though I enjoyed the audiobook, right? Sanguinary glass armor sucks. Yeah, Sanguinary Guard don't survive. They're super. You know, considering like a squad of Sanguinary Guard is like 300 points and they can get like shot off the table with like average shooting at best in a single round or a single turn, I guess. That's my big problem with starting everything on the table, I guess. I mean, if the terrain looks good and you're going to be able to obscure everything, sure, start on the table, but like I feel like the terrain doesn't always look good like that. Like sometimes it just isn't an option. Clint just got his land speeders today. Nice. The land speeders, do you know what? The land speeders don't survive against anything. I mean, they're same as attack bikes, aren't they? Generally, if you're bringing in an attack bike from reserve, you aren't expecting it to do much more than get one round of shooting. I'd say, like, if it's still on the table at the beginning of the next turn, that's kind of a win, I'd almost say. Yeah, I mean, land speeders, I guess, are a bit like speed bumps, right? They're just there to. You're paying 70 points for like a multi-melta that can maybe do a little bit of damage and maybe you can score some engage in all fronts or something like that. That's literally all you're paying those 70 points for. But sometimes it can be well worth it, right? So. And I mean, I guess that's why sometimes I think Sanguinary Guard with Infernal Pistols can be well worth it, because if you're willing to spend 70 points on a land speeder with 2 shots of strength 8 -4 and all that nonsense, like why would you not spend 5 points on it on a Sanguinary Guard when the Sanguinary Guard probably can get like +1 to hit as well because of a Chapter Master or a Warlord, and also you can get like rerolls on 1s as well, you know? I've ran out of Blood Angels decals. Any suggestions? Sean, you need to go to eBay. But if you're tactical and smart on eBay, there's some sellers that you'll get like, you know the. Well, you either need to go on eBay or you need to find somebody that will trade you, because you maybe be able to find someone that will trade. But yeah, on eBay there's definitely some sellers that will sell like the whole decal sheet that you would get like in the starter boxes, like the Indomitus box or like the Dark Imperium box, for like $10, which I guess in the grand scheme of things is not too bad. I actually found one seller that sold like, it was like buy one get one for like 10% off or something, so I got like 2 sets of Indomitus for like, I want to say it was like $13. I'm not sure that's going to be as easy to do if you're in America, but in the UK it's certainly something you can do. The other option, I guess, is you can go to Forge World and buy the Forge World Blood Angels transfer sheets, but like they're kind of expensive and they're kind of different from what you would normally get, so you'd have to be okay with like not matching your other stuff. But I mean, the Forge World ones are pretty cool. You do get some unique ones that you've never seen before. they're literally the only thing that can kill Mephiston is Mephiston. Yeah, you're right. And Jaegerbaum kind of says the same thing as how he's got demons and an evil angel inside of him. I think with the new Astaroth book, will he get a new model? See, I was really hoping that we'd get a new Dante model with Primaris Sanguigard. I think it's kind of crappy that, you know, like at the start of Darkness in the Blood, it's like Dante with, I believe it's Hellblasters and Intercessors. And it was like Dante, Mephiston, and Hellblasters and Intercessors in the book. And like, I don't have a problem with, you know, Primaris reinforcements joining the ranks. I mean, it makes sense, right? But at the same time, at some point, we need to have Primaris models. You know, like, Sanguigard models in the lore aren't invulnerable. They are going to die. So at some point, surely, if they're dying, then they need replaced with Primaris Marines. So we should get Primaris Sanguigard. I mean, we've got Primaris Death Company. They just don't have any jump packs, which is annoying. But like, I think the thing that Blood Angels need right now is we need Primaris Sanguigard. We need them to have 3 damage weapons. We need them to have 3 wounds. We need them to have an invulnerable save, and we need them to have -1 damage. If we got all that, Reziel, I'd fucking shit them all over the board everywhere, and we could say no to Deep Strike. But yeah, -1 damage, 3 wounds, an invulnerable save, and also a weapon that can do 3 damage in melee combat. That's what a Sanguigard need. According to the Audible app, I listened to 40,317 minutes of 40k books in 2021. That is pretty cool to know. I didn't know the app broke that down like that, Daniel, but holy crap, you've listened to a lot of 40k books. Actually, how many minutes in a typical audiobook? Because they are like 10 hours, right? So like 600 minutes per book-ish? Maybe 9. Yeah, so you listen to 40 books? Wow. I think I listened to like 3 books last year. Do you know what? I have to cut down my content consumption though since I started doing the YouTube channel. So it's like a double-edged sword for me. Like, I really enjoy doing the channel. I like making the videos and stuff, but it does, you know, like, it is my hobby time. So it does kind of, it's a double-edged sword. Because before I was streaming, I would always be listening to audiobooks when I was painting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm probably going to buy the paperback of the Astaroth book just because I don't want to miss out on it based on the fact that, like, the other books have... And based on the fact, like... Do you know what? If you can afford to buy 10 copies of the Astaroth book, maybe you should just buy 10 copies, because if the Dante one is literally going on Amazon for $100, then why would you not want to buy a book that costs like £6-7 on paperback and just be able to sell it for 100? I don't understand some of these Dark Library releases. Like, they should just, if people want to order the book, just print more copies, I guess. I guess they probably just don't want to have a backlog of books that don't sell, maybe. Which is fair enough, right? Nobody wants stock that's going to be dead or redundant or doesn't sell. Alright, I want to put a bit more colour into the back of this just to break up all this red, I guess. Maybe these little fins will be black. Maybe that's what we'll do. I take any new model, says Seller. Shit, I'll take Carbolo. Camille got 2 Indomitus transfers from eBay, so I mean that is the option. Thoughts on 3 Hunter Killer missiles for Leviathan, turn 1 firepower. I hate Hunter Killer missiles because they're D6 damage. Highland Phoenix. If they made Hunter Killer missiles like flat 3 or flat 4 damage, then I'd be okay with it. Do you use Halifax Grey Primer and then Evil Suns? I actually use white primer, and then I use whatever it is called now. Is it Corax White, the GW primer? So I always use the white primer, and then I always spray Mephiston red, and then I'm still on the old school when they used to always tell you 2 thin coats. So it's probably one of the reasons it takes me so long to paint my models. I basically spray them white, I spray them Mephiston red, I give them 2 coats of Evil Sun Scarlet, so that's basically 4 coats of paint, and then I'm ready to start actually doing some painting. So that's how I do it. But I'm doing it because I've always done it that way, and I want everything to match, and I've got sort of OCD about everything matching. We're only going to get a Primaris Dante when we get a new book. You say that, Balanced Hydra, but they did do that new box for Calgar with the Vitrix Guard. I mean, that was the thing that got me thinking that they would do that for Dante, right? Because like, the Vitrix Guard came out of nowhere, right, with the Calgar release, and it was like, oh cool, Calgar, and he's getting a new release, and he's getting like new bodyguards, like, oh cool, Dante will get a release in bodyguards. And when that Calgar release happened, I was convinced we were going to get the same. I mean, like, that was like forever ago now, it feels like, so I guess now I'm not convinced. Could we give the... Willis says that the Sanguinary Guard should have the bodyguard rule as well. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea why they don't have the bodyguard. Literally, they have guard in their name. So why they aren't guards is just dumb. I mean, they've never really been bodyguards. Like, it's never been a rule that they've had as far as I'm aware. But, like, I think it's just because they were released before the bodyguard rule or the current, like, the current incantation of the bodyguard rule existed, right? So I think it would make sense that they are bodyguards. Theory crafting Sanguinary Guard is somewhat interesting, but yeah, I mean it is. I think if we did get Primaris Sanguinary Guard, they'd be nowhere near as powerful as that I would hope they would be. I guess the problem is going to be Terminators, right? Like, because Terminators are those 3-wound Marines. So Sanguinary Guard are probably never going to compete with Terminators for 3 wounds, I would guess. I mean, honestly, they just need like a survivability stratagem. Like, you know, if we could transhuman Sanguinary Guard or something to try and help keep them alive, because they can get killed so quickly by like high strength stuff. So if we could get some way of like keeping them alive via stratagem, that might be enough to make Sanguinary Guard actually feel really good again. I think the -1 that they have to hit in combat is trash. Like, I'd much rather have -1 damage that a lot of other enemies have as well, right? -1 damage would be so much better than -1 to hit in combat. Because most of the time, getting hit in combat isn't where Sanguinary Guard are going to get killed. They're going to get killed by shooting, and the shooting is you trying to get to combat, right? Dante is long overdue for a new model, says Jaegerbomb. I believe he's about 20 years overdue. Jaegerbomb, like, he's so overdue for a new model. I'd settle for Sanguinary Guard with Storm Shield, says Balanced Hydra. I mean, that would be nice. I mean, the other thing to say is, like, in the Codex, it does actually say that they wear Artificer armor, and it does say that they wear very rare Artificer armor or something to that nature, and you know, there's a relic called Artificer Armor, and it's a 2+5 up, 5+. So it seems strange that they wear Artificer. They wear the ancient, more powerful version of the Artificer Armor, but for some reason they don't get the 5 up invulnerable save that Artificer Armor gives. So, I mean, I guess that's just it's hard to say what that is. It's like sometimes when it suits Games Workshop, they'll say it in their community posts. They're like, you know, this unit's getting this because that's totally what they have in the fluff, and it totally makes sense. You know, and they'll say that to sort of justify a rule, you know, like with the Tau, with those new, like, giant cannons that do, like, minimum of 14 damage and ignore all your invulnerable saves, and shout out some mortal wounds as well for good measure, you know, like, this is, they'll say, like, you know, their community post or their Twitter post will say, like, you know, this totally makes sense because that's how it is in the fluff. And then on the other side of things, you got something like Artificer Armor that always gives a 5 up invulnerable save. But for us, you know, it just seems like it's conveniently forgotten, so I don't know, I don't have words to put on that, but yeah. Like, I feel like they either need to go one way or the other, you know, like it shouldn't be like this sort of double standard, well. But, I mean, I get it, it's not an easy job, I'm sure. 40k is a pretty complicated game. We are just one faction. I do like the Corax white before silver, says Wolfden. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how much of the Corax white comes through on my models, considering I spray Mephiston red, then do 2 coats of Evil Sun Scarlet. I really don't know how much Corax white comes through, but like, I've thought about cutting it out, that step, because it's extra work, but I mean, GW just gave Crisis Suits 4 wounds. They gave the Custodes bikes 5 wounds as well. Manuel agrees. He thinks that they should at least have the 5 up shrug, and that is the thing that makes sense, and that is what's mentioned in the lore, right, Manuel? That Artificer Armor does give a 5 up shrug essentially. So, yeah. Mark, thanks for tuning in tonight, and congrats on getting your gold helmet. I don't know if you've had that for a while, but I appreciate the months of subscriptions, very much so. Thank you so much for that. A list of demands. I'm in no position to demand anything, I guess. But I am almost at 10,000 subscribers, and apparently Games Workshop will speak to YouTubers when they have 10,000 subscribers. Apparently at 10,000 subscribers, enough people watch me that I must have a small degree of influence, or I have something, I guess? I don't know what it is. We'll see. 10,000 subscribers. If you'd asked me a year ago if we could get 10,000, I don't know if I would have thought we could. But now it feels like it could be a reality. We're only like 30 away from 9,000, I think. I can tell you exactly how many we have right now. We're 30, yeah, we're 30 subscribers away from 9,000. So when I do this painting competition announcement, like later this week, Wolfden says, thank you very much, that's very kind, Wolfden. Yeah, so I think when I announce this painting competition later this week, I assume that we would get like 20 or 30 new subscribers, because people are going to want to subscribe to win a couple of free models from doing some painting. And if you're interested in Blood Angels, then, you know, the painting competition will be right up your alleyway. So I think the painting competition will have us at 9,000. And then, who knows? 10,000 may be reality. But yeah, no, I mean, I remember at the very start when I started the channel, you know, like I would do streams and like I would get 1 or 2 viewers. So thank you for giving me a chance, and thank you for tuning in to all the different streams and stuff. I appreciate it. I tell you, it's pretty disheartening when you are streaming to 1 or 2 viewers. It's pretty crazy. Well, I've managed to put a little bit of paint on this guy. He's, you know, he only had silver on him. So we get some yellow helmets done, we get some trims down. I feel like I've got enough colors on him as well that it's broken up a little bit. Like it's not just like it doesn't feel like it's just like all red, because the land speeder on the GW website is an Ultramarines one. It's just all blue. It's like they haven't done too much in terms of like trying to break up all the red on the land speeder, or sorry, all the blue. It very much is just a lot of blue. So I like to try and, I know vehicles can be difficult because like they primarily are like one color, but I do like to try and do a bit of work so it's like you get a little bit of color variation on it, right? The rules team have been slogging. I also Imperial Guard, and they're one of their lowest ranked factions, says 40k Warriors. I don't know why it's taken the rules team so long to get the books out, Warrior. I don't know if it's COVID or what, but like I feel like when did 9th actually launch? Like 9th edition launched a long time ago, it feels like. Indominus came out, was it last summer? I think it was the summer before that. So 9th has been out, yeah, because when did 9th edition actually launch? Does anyone remember? Because the fact that some factions still don't have their codex is kind of like baffling to me. It's like, I know our codex isn't exactly strong or good or whatever, but 2 years is too fucking long to wait for your codex. I don't care what I don't really care what hardship has been going on in the world. Like I think, like, you know, even if I just think it's too long to wait 2 years. And it's also the problem with it being like that is that the codex that got released first, like ours and the Necrons, that, you know, everything else is coming out and is stronger. Then you have the exact same situation even with the new codexes, where it's like, well, we did release a Blood Angels codex, but it was also done like 2 years ago at this point, so guess what? It's not very good anymore. I just think it's too slow. So like maybe they need to stop making new versions of the game, you know, like where they, like if they do 10th edition and we have to go through this whole cycle again where it's like you should almost just stop doing giant changes and just make sure that everybody gets the codexes quicker. I mean, yeah, everybody's gonna have their own opinions on that. Some people probably quite like the release schedule. It frustrates me a bit, and it frustrates me when you see a balance slate like the one we had this week. The balance slate this week looked at 0 of the problematic units for Space Marines, you know? Like, I've talked about a bunch of units in the Space Marine Codex that are just not good enough. There's no reason to take them whatsoever. They totally need an overhaul. I've been saying that for like a year, and like not a single one of them got any points changes. Like, you know, I've also been saying like the Blood Angel specific dreadnoughts didn't have the core keyword. I've been saying pretty much since the Blood Angels Codex came out, like, why have these dreadnoughts not got the core keyword? This makes them trash. you know, but for whatever reason, no one's looked at it. Like, how can no one have looked at it? That's what I don't get. I mean, I guess, you know, Blood Angels have 3 specific dreadnoughts that can be used, that have their own specific rules. They're supposed to be unique, they're supposed to be good, they're supposed to be fluffy. And you look at Blood Angels tournament lists and none of them include the dreadnoughts. Why is that? It's because you didn't give them core. You give all other dreadnoughts core. Like you're telling me in 2 years no one looked at that and went like, hey guys, we missed the core keyword here. Can we add it? You know, like, if it was digital, I guess it could be added in 2 seconds, like edit, add, core, tick, done. Edit, add, core, tick, done. There you go. Both dreadnoughts now have core. You know? Whereas I guess the problem with the books and the balance slates is, you know, like, people were very excited about this balance slate idea. Like, we're going to get a balance slate every 3 months and it's going to help. Well, sure, if they actually fucking look at the units, it's going to help. But if they do a balance slate where, like, hey, we know, like, I've got a whole playlist on my channel that probably, like, I could make a list, like, here are the 50 units that we put in the D tier. These units are all completely dumpster. They have no space in the competitive scene at all. If you want to win games, completely avoid using all these units. John, maybe that's a video I need to make. Just to try and, like, hit it home, like, these are 50 dumpster Space Marine units in the current meta. Do not buy these, do not play them. They are trash. Like, it's annoying that, I don't know, I mean, am I the only one that felt underwhelmed by this latest balance slate? Alright, I'm about fixing to wrap up for the night, guys. It is midnight and I have to go because my daughter will be up early, no doubt. So if you have any last questions, throw them into the chat. If not, well, we'll be back tomorrow night looking at army lists like we always do every Sunday. That'll be about the same time as we kicked off tonight, maybe like an hour, maybe like a half hour earlier, but the Sunday night show is later now because I'm trying to do it and not interfere with my looking after my family and stuff for the moment. So, and then Monday night show will be the normal time of 7:30 UK time, and we'll play up against Andrew's Tau. I'm sure he's bringing a very meta list, but you know, I have been known to beat Andrew. I've been known to beat his meta stuff as well when he was so convinced that he was going to win that GT with those orcs. And I beat him every single time he played them, you know, so yeah. I don't know why JW doesn't just take some time and they do a new rulebook and release all the codexes with the same rulebook. I think if they did that, Steel Rain, the overall game balance would probably be a bit better as well, right? Because you wouldn't get like a codex having 2 years between its release and another codex, so that things could get like so unbalanced, because everything would need to be balanced like at the same time. And I think we used to get that like when there was less armies, right? To a certain extent, but I guess now there's a lot of armies and it's much more difficult to do, but I am so on board with that. D6 is too limiting. I don't necessarily know if we need to change the dice off D6. 10k will not do that, but I love the stream. I appreciate that, Wolfden. Do a garbage unit of the week. We could do a garbage unit. A Blood Angels army of renown would be interesting. Yeah, I think that Phobos that Phobos army of Renowned is very, very weird. It's not going to be competitive at all, which is strange because the Tyranids army of Renowned is obviously crazy competitive, so I don't know. I've heard a rumor about a new Space Marine Codex. Maybe that's what we're going to have to wait for. And that's going to solve all of our problems. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, thank you so much for watching tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed hanging out for a bit and you managed to get some hobby done as well. I will have a video in the next week or so about this painting competition. So all I can say is, if you're painting a Blood Angels unit at the moment, maybe it's time to decide if this is going to be, you're going to try and put the most effort in and paint the best Blood Angels you've ever had. There's going to be a little bit of randomness in the winner, because I'm not just going to pick someone, because I obviously speak to all you guys and know a lot of you guys, and like I said, I think it'll be fairer if there's a bit of randomness in the winner. So do your best, start getting your best looking Blood Angels unit, tank or character together. Details will be posted in the next week or so on how you can win some of these Forge World models, and hopefully if the tournament, or sorry, hopefully if the painting competition does well, then we may see more of them in the future. If anyone's got any clever ideas for what we call the tournament, like a pun, you could bring your clever ideas tomorrow night to the stream. Like, you know, like GW obviously have their armies on parade, which is fine, but like we could have like something of the Blood Angels, like some sort of fun name. If someone can think of something like a pun or something, I'd appreciate it. 8th edition was actually really well balanced with the indexes. Do you know what? I actually liked the indexes when they did that. Does it count if they're a successor chapter? Yeah, I think if they're mostly red, Brush Angels, that's not bad, Manuel. Maybe. If it's mostly red, warrior YouTuber, then I think it can work. I think it would need to be mostly red. It could be Flesh Tearers, it could be a successor, it could be Blood Angels, but like it would need to look a bit Blood Angels. Like I think it has to be a bit Blood Angels. But successors would be okay. The Chalice Championship, says Highland Phoenix. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I will catch you tomorrow night, and then I'll catch you again on Monday night. Have a great evening, enjoy the rest of your weekend. By the blood are we made strong. Peace.